everybody, it's your favorite Dynamite Stick Kaboom, and today I'm going to show you guys some stuff that I learned from building this storage base with the new first order pieces. Now, the first order pieces are available right now in the LEGO Pass, and I highly recommend them. This was so much fun. So let's go ahead and get into this, and let me show you guys some of the stuff that I learned while building this. Now I'm thinking of making this a new series called Let's Build, where I show you guys some tips and tricks that I learned while building with different sets. This is just meant to give you guys more options when building your own custom bases in your own worlds. If you guys like that, let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed for more videos like this. So the first thing I want to talk about is these windows. These laser windows are amazing. This has allowed us to do custom windows for our own build. In the past, if we wanted a window, we had to go to the window section. And then sometimes we'd have to get real creative with how we were putting windows in. But with this new piece, which is found in, go to decorations and then go to electronics and then scroll on down, you'll see it's the first order laser barrier. It's not really meant to be a window, but yeah, you can see through it. It's a window. So I do hope we get more colors. I would really love that option to be able to put these in different colors and different builds, depending on what you're building. But as you can see here, custom window. Let me show you guys how I turn these on its side and put those in there. And then also, if you want to, you can go that extra step and you can add in lights that are kind of recessed that makes that window really pop, especially at night. All right, so we got the place where we want our window to go. We're gonna go ahead and move this forward. It's gonna give us a little lip to stick the window in. Now we're gonna put down a temporary piece. We just wanna make sure it's lined up so we can move it over to and over to like that. Then you're gonna grab a pressure plate, put that down. Now, where you put the pressure plate does affect how the window will line up. So if you're not able to get it quite in that spot, you're gonna need to adjust the pressure plate. Now, once you get your window, you're gonna notice that there's like two sides to the window. There's this thicker side and then the skinnier side. When you put it up here, that thick side's gonna be sticking out like that to move this in until it turns red. And now you have the choice of making this window as high or as low as you want. Let's go ahead and go right there. Now we can grab our wall and insert it here. Then come over here and put this little edge in. And now, as you can see, you got yourself a nice little window. And now we're just gonna go ahead and trim it out with putting in a piece down here and then a piece like this. Now we're gonna fill in the top piece, and we wanna be sure it's flush with the other pieces so that the ceiling can go on top of there. And then we'll just fill that in there like that. And then you can just test that out, make sure it's where it needs to be. Then we're gonna come up front here. We're gonna grab this first order half wall and we're gonna put it in right here underneath this thing. One like that and one like that. Then we're gonna grab this 4x8x6 one and then we're gonna fill it in with this one here. And that gives you the bottom of the window. Now, if you want to, you could just put a 6 up here and a 4 to fill this gap in, but you'd see the little holes on the bottom of the piece. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and throw a pressure plate up here, like this. Then I'm gonna grab this 4x2x1, and I'm just gonna go ahead and move it over, move it up a little bit, and then put it in like that. Then I can knock this off. Oh, oops. All right, well, if that happens, go ahead and grab your 6, go ahead and twist it, and then move it in. So, and now you can knock this out and then fix it. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this in just so you guys can kind of see that if you do get off a little bit, not to necessarily just knock it out, but you can actually work off a mistake to make it right. Kind of like this. All right, let's go to the inside. So now we can put a piece in here. And then we can bring this one over like this. There we go. Now, this is where things can kind of get onto the custom side of what you want your window to look like. If you got these lights, you can slap one of those up there like that, and then one of those down there. That's gonna give you that nice red glow, and it's gonna keep it flush enough to where you can actually fill this in if you want to. And now you got yourself a little grate going through, and you have yourself on this side a custom window, or you can leave it open. And instead of covering the whole window up, you can just use these pieces to frame out your window. And now you can look outside. So again, these are a huge W in my book. This is just one little example of the 1,000 possibilities that you have now to do custom windows. But I do hope that kind of helps show you guys how to frame out a window and make it look good. So this next little tip trick comes from Lego Dudes. And I saw this in their video with these red carpets, and I thought, you know what? I just don't see a lot of this. And I thought this was really cool. So what we have here is the red carpets recessed into the floor, and you can actually put down a second carpet, and you can make this flush if you wanted to. But for me, I actually kind of like the recessed look a little bit. I feel like it just kind of leads up to this really cool pathway. But it does give you options for different colors because we don't have any red floors. And it just seems, oh man, it just really adds that touch to this whole floor in here. And I loved it, and I wanted to throw it in there. All right, so this next build tip is the ceilings. As you can see, I have a lot going on in here. And one of the things that I did is I actually put that ceiling upside down, but I moved it up one so that you can make these very clean cuts in your ceiling so your pieces would fit in properly. So let me show you guys how I did that. Now, you may need to work with some of the different measurements depending on if you're using interior and exterior walls. For me, all my pieces were the same size, but if you're gonna be switching in between those, you're definitely gonna have to test it out and make sure you're lining up correctly. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just start off with this wall here. It's a 2x16x12. Now we're gonna grab a 16x2x1, and we're just gonna go ahead and move that in like this. Now, normally your floor would sit right on top of these studs, and what you would end up with is this, like, a bunch of holes looking at you. So then you do something where you're like, okay, I'm gonna cover these up. You know, I don't like the way that looks. Let's cover those up. But then you'd find that you can't go all the way to your wall, and you end up with this like little itty bitty line there going along the stud part. So let's take care of that. We're gonna knock that out. We're gonna go ahead and get another 16x2x1 and snap it down there. And then we can snap into that top floor we just put down. And we're gonna move this over about there. Doesn't matter, it's gonna get removed. And then we're gonna actually put our pressure plate over here like that. Then we're gonna grab our 16x16x1 and we're gonna put it up there off of there, and we're gonna move it over until it's in place and it's on top of those studs upside down. And now we can go ahead and knock that out like that. Grab a set of stairs. Now, if you want to, which is actually what I did over here, is you can take and put down a floor on top of this one. And if you pull off of this, you now have that look there. You can knock this off, and you can knock this off because your studs are holding that floor in. Then you can go to your roof trim pieces, and you can put your trim pieces on. And your window trim pieces are gonna hide what you just did back there, but you're gonna have a really nice ceiling. Okay, so for this next tip or trick, this here, when I was building the pre-builds, I was looking at these pieces and I was like, man, I wonder what these would look like flipped over on top of each other. And I believe the look that it gave was a very Star Wars themed look. These pieces are awesome. These little corner pieces, love them. And the angled slanted walls, I love these also. And these right here. And the first thing I did was try to put these things together. But I found that this piece here and this piece here can actually be very tricky to flip over and get to line up properly. So what I did was I pulled them off of this piece and this piece to get them to line up the way they should. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that over here. I'm gonna go ahead and use this piece because I think this looks so good flipped over and on top of it. Then you're gonna grab a piece, a wall piece that's the same height as this piece. That's very important If you're using an interior wall, use an interior piece. Exterior wall, exterior piece. Because the height does matter. So we're going to put 2 of those down like this. Then we're going to grab our floor. It doesn't really matter. You just need to have one that's big enough to put a pressure plate on. So let's use a 16 by 2 by 1. Slap that down. Grab our pressure plate. We're going to go ahead and put that right there on that edge like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this piece onto that pressure plate till it's upside down. And there's a little thing where it works up just a hair. It's such a touchy little thing. You'll know if you got it or not if your piece turns green or if it doesn't. So we'll move it over. Oh, see, okay, we don't have it. So we're just gonna go up just a hair, until it turns green, and then place it. Now that we have those 2 pieces down, now we can go ahead and knock this out. And now we can grab these 2 pieces that were being very difficult for me to get them to line up the way that I wanted. And now you can snap off of this piece like that, and then you're gonna come up here to this top piece, and you're gonna snap into it, and then it's gonna get placed. And that's gonna give you this really nice corner. And this piece right here, it was also being a doozy and didn't want to play nice. But now that you have this upper wall to pull off of, now you can get it to line up, and it looks really good. Alright, one of the coolest pieces that probably got added into this game was these right here. These foundation pieces really add a lot of character to the very bottom of your base. So you're kind of getting the ability to kind of deal with the terrain. As you can see here, how it's going up and down. So if you are building, like you can see here, it got pretty low on me over on this side, but then it gets a little bit deeper down here. It really is nice to have these type of foundation pieces in the game, since we're not able to change the terrain on our builds. So if you do have something like this, let me show you over here. So as you can see here, you got this little hill here, and you got this little hill here, and then you got this valley here. What I like to do is I like to start off up here on top of the valley like this. And let's say you're building over here and you're going across this area like this. And now you got this dip, right? And you got to cover that up. You can't have that looking like that. But basically you're going to put a piece that's over the lip edge like that, just a little bit. You can just snap right there and move forward. And now you got your piece where you want it. And then we can just snap into these and just build this across. This will really help take your build to that next level. And then, oh, look what we got down there. So we're gonna just move this over till it's green. Bam. Oh, you know what? Actually, that one didn't get placed in the right spot. So let's knock it out. There we go. And move this one over. There we go. And then let's put one more in like that. And there you go. You got a really nice foundation for any of your builds, and gives you the ability to really, work with this terrain when you can't find a super flat spot. So I know this was a little bit of a different type of video. If you guys would like to actually see me building this on stream, there should be a link to that stream in the description down below. There should be also a link to Lego Dude's channel. Go check out their builds. And if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that like button and leaving a comment and making sure you're subscribed to the channel. This is a little bit different. I didn't want to just build it. I wanted to show you some of the techniques and how I built this so that you guys can take those and add them to your builds. So as always, may the brick snap in your favor, and until next time, bye!